Hi everyone, and thank you all so much for joining me today for this new BMA webinar. My name is José Garrido and I am Product Manager of BMA Centrifugals. Today's webinar is about one of the most well-known products by BMA, our batch centrifugals, the E-Series. This webinar will have the following main topics. We will talk a little bit about the welcome of this product on the market, and then we talk about the applications, configuration and models within the E-Series, following by some components we will put focus on, which make a difference against other centrifugals on the market. Finalizing my presentation with some concept ideas about maintenance, service and safety, which are important ideas in the conception of our centrifugal. Let us start saying and appreciating the excellent acceptance of the BMA E-Series. The last years we sold more than 650 E-centrifugals all over the world and in all over possible applications. That makes the E-Series leader of the high-end centrifugals. Although it is therefore a well-known and commonly used piece of equipment in the sugar manufacturing process, we have prepared a short animation to show you what happens inside the basket of a BMA centrifugal in operation. We start the working cycle by loading the centrifuge with massacute. The centrifugal force causes the massacute to accumulate on the wall of the basket. According to the quality of the massacute, different baskets are recommended to allow an efficient separation process. These models and their application will be discussed in the following minutes. When the basket is filled to the desired capacity, which is done automatically, the machine starts to accelerate with a high G-force value, which pushes the syrup out. The syrup leaves the basket by passing through the working screen, the backing screen, and through the elliptical openings in the basket. The video shows how the syrup separation system is automatically configured to evacuate the green runoff with no moving parts. During the acceleration process and before reaching the maximum speed of the centrifugal, the evacuation of the syrup will reach the surface of the cake formed on the wall of the basket, causing a color change on this surface. This is the exact moment to apply the washing water to the remaining sugar in the basket. This process can be done automatically in our centrifugals, as we will explain it later in this presentation. When applying the water, we will be dissolving an important quantity of sugar, and therefore, applying a short delay, it is the moment to make the change to white runoff in order to take advantage of this product in the process. This configuration can be seen on the screen. The centrifugation phase is used to dry the sugar and to eliminate the remaining runoff. Once a safe discharge speed has been reached, the machine discharges the sugar from the basket in a single movement of its discharger. At the end of the working cycle of the BMA centrifugal, the working screens are washed, which is also considered as white runoff, and prepares the machine for the next cycle. Let's talk about the application and variants within the E-Series. The E-Series is the most suitable product to centrifugate end product in cane factories and big factories. Even in the latter, it can be used for separation of B products. BMA E machines are being used as well to centrifugate refined sugar and sugar substitutes. The E-Series of BMA consists of three models: the E3090, the E1810, and the E2240, whose names correspond to the nominal capacity of the baskets in their 213 mm variant. In order to correctly define the centrifugal model that you need for your application, it is necessary to take in account mainly the parameter of the mass acute purity. There are also other parameters such as the content of crystal and their aesthetical distribution of the site to be considered, but the typical purity is the most important parameter to define the model that you need. As you can see, for different applications, for example, for the cane sugar processing, which has the lower purity level of the three applications that you can see on the table, we use a centrifugal with a basket with a layer thickness of 200 mm. For refined sugar, which is a product easily separated, we use the application of 250 mm. In the table, you can see as well the the maximal capacity in kilograms of the basket for the three models of the series and the ideal throughput in tons per hour. For the application of sugar substitutes, traditionally much smaller basket thicknesses are used due to the chemical characteristic of the mass acute. There are typical values for fructose and dextrose processing. Other applications are also available, and we encourage you to contact us directly to discuss your application in depth with our experts. Sugar substitute applications have much longer cycle times than sugar, and because of the high G-force required to achieve separation, the basket have much smaller capacity. The use of high graduation stainless steels is also a constant of this type of application. And now, let us talk a little bit and put on focus some of the most important and special components of the BMA E-Series machine. And let us start with the basket, which is one of the most important components within the machine. First of all, we want to say that the ratio between its height and its diameter makes the basket of the E-Series very stable and not prone to oscillations. The elliptical openings, we will talk in the next page, but to say that the BMA basket does not need reinforcement rings, it is lighter and it has a higher capacity than other baskets with bored holes, and therefore has a lower moment of inertia, which allows higher acceleration and brakes, which simplifies the separation process. This well-known page shows a comparison of the mechanical stress measurement of a drill hole basket compared to the BMA E-Series basket, which has elliptical openings. As can be seen, this modification reduces the mechanical stress by more than 40%, which results in longer service life of the basket. As mentioned above, by having lower mechanical stress, BMA uses lighter baskets and other brands which allows higher accelerations with the same drive system. In this picture, we can see the flat geometry of the basket hub used by BMA, which enables the discharge in a single movement. It is also very important to mention the connection between the hub and the shaft, which is made through a press fitting, which allows an optimal transmission of the movement to the basket, with minimum associated maintenance work. The next component that we want to take a look in deep is the centering unit, the centering device. We have prepared a short animation to show the operation of the centering device of our centrifugals, which is unique in the market. The centering device fixes the shaft to the housing, thus ensuring a safe discharge of the sugar, and it avoids swinging of the basket in the centrifugal. This is done by the movement downwards of two pneumatic cylinders, which move the actuator guide to the centering device, which is attached to the housing. At the same time, the basket opens its lower part to allow the sugar to fall through the discharge cone. This slide highlights again the basic features and purpose of the centering system, with an extra special feature, which is that the way of opening the basket from top to bottom greatly improves the maintenance work, and there is no need to make any adjustment from the bottom of the machine. The next component to be analyzed in this presentation is one of the most important components of the BMA technology, and this is the DIN-FAS sensor. The DIN-FAS sensor, it is a radar meter which will allow you to automate the following processes: the loading of the machine and the automatic adjustment of the wash water according to the load level of the machine for each cycle. This system will also prevent overfilling of the basket. To understand the importance and consequences of applying more wash water to the sugar, we recommend you to watch the webinar on this channel titled "How to Optimize the Loading Process of a Batch Centrifugal." You can see now on the screen the simple user interface used by the BMA software to configure the DIN-FAS radar system. With a couple of parameters, this system will regulate the load and water automatically, avoiding recirculation and thus saving water in the station, and then steam when evaporating excess water at other points in the process. At this point of the presentation, we want to present you a novelty. This is a new sensor called the reflection sensor. The goal of this sensor is the automatic determination of the onset of sugar washout. As mentioned above, the exact moment of the inlet of wash water is the moment of the color change on the cake surface. This sensor, which is a laser sensor, will measure this color transition and will apply the water at that moment so that the washing will be more effective, will automatically adapt to the different qualities of your massacute, and will avoid the extreme oscillations caused by the water wave. The discharger by BMA E-Series centrifugals is a system which is also original and patented by BMA. Due to its shape and composition, it is able to discharge the entire sugar in a single translation movement. This significantly shortens the discharging time and has a hydraulic cylinder to regulate the discharge speed. The design of the discharge makes it very easy to repair and overhaul. As the sugar discharge is of vital importance for the safe operation of the machine, BMA has included the following sensor and automation in this component: pressure sensor in the pneumatic cylinder for automatic detection of hard sugar in the basket and its safe processing, a proximity sensor for monitoring the position of the discharge plug, an hydraulic system level sensor, and we are in the last phase of testing a new sensor to measure possible deformation in the discharge. So far, we have analyzed some of the most innovative and critical components of the BMA E-Series centrifugals. As a conclusion to our talk today, we would like to talk about the concepts of maintenance, service, and safety, which are decisive when designing the machine. To facilitate the necessary maintenance and inspections maneuvers, BMA has modified the design so that the machine's components are constructively simple and therefore easier to inspect, to diagnose a possible failure and to carry out repairs. Besides, the parts that require inspection are visible or easily accessible. Easy maintenance systems have been chosen, such as the press fitting to connect the shaft with the basket hub, so that the BMA centrifugal can be inspected without the need of complete disassembly. The tremendous acceleration forces that occur in each centrifugal operating cycle are well known. It is therefore of vital importance to ensure safe machine operation that protects the safety of the operators as well as the integrity of the machine itself. To achieve these important objectives, BMA has implemented a three-step safety concept that makes the e-machines the safest in the world. The first step in this threefold safety concept is that of mechanical design, or passive safety of the machine. The designs of components such as the basket or the machine housing are made in such a way that damage of the machine is avoided. Thus, as mentioned above, the height-diameter ratio of the basket avoids oscillations, or the housing is constructed in such a way that its resonance frequency are calculated and do not present a risk in the working cycle of the machine. In this phase, simulations and tests are also carried out to ensure, for example, that the energy of an accident can be absorbed by the machine housing. The second step of this safety concept is to equip the machine with a safe sensor that monitors the safe operation of the machine. The careful choice of sensor technologies and the redundancy in their measurement is a strategy that will help to ensure the safety of the BMA centrifugal. Finally, the safe design concept of the BMA E-series centrifugals includes safety procedures in the control software that automatically intervene to prevent the machine from crashing. Such safety procedures include, for example, the braking system and its monitoring and the STO machine stop in accordance to the most stringent safety regulation. So the BMA E-series centrifugals have not only been carefully designed for safe operation, but also, as we have seen through today's webinar, allow for simple and structured maintenance. In addition, they optimize the sugar centrifugation process and save natural resources such as water automatically and reliably. With this, we have come to an end of today's talk. We would like to thank you all for your attention and invite you to an upcoming webinar on sugar equipment and technology by BMA. Please let us know in the comments if you have any question. We are happy to respond. Thank you and best regards.